avant-garde communist regime. But he's still living. Last I knew, he was still living. And probably still coaching somewhere. I hope not little kids, but maybe. I guess the Olympics tend to stand out as much as Stanley Cup playoff games, but there have been some of those too. Patrick Kane scoring in overtime in my brilliant call. You never realize how much you trust referees, because now our league has evolved to where the goal judges aren't behind the net anymore. And the goal judge that night told us, when Patrick scored his goal and none of us saw it, that even if he saw it in the net, he could not turn the light on. He is not allowed to turn the light on until the referee points at the net. And you'll recall, if you saw the play, that didn't happen until they reviewed it at center ice. So, yeah, that was one of those memories that you'd rather not have, but the law of averages says you're going to have a few of those. And on one side, you say, you know, no one else got it. But on the other side, you say, I'm supposed to get those. And I got the SC of score out, and then I saw Patrick going crazy, and then he headed to the other end of the ice, and the referee is still looking around. And in announcing a game, if you can't see the puck, and a lot of times in some of the positions you are, on the near boards you can't see it, you just watch the heads of the players. Well, the heads of the players were all looking near the net, but not at it. And so our assumption was, well, it's still in play then, even though Patrick's going nuts. So Wednesday of this week, we're in Chicago. And it's the first I've seen the Blackhawks since Game 6 last spring. So after several people peeled off, I went over and sat next to Patrick, and I said, okay, what did you see? And he said, when I was going behind the net, I saw it sticking in the back under the webbing, and I knew it was over. And I said, your teammates didn't come off the bench. He said, I know. My next job was to sell it. And so I went to the other end, selling it all the way, and finally everybody bought it. But yeah, it was one of the more unusual things for an announcer. Sad, but the other side of it was a thrilling playoff, and you have to be happy for Chicago going that long and not having a championship.
We know about the work you did with the Devils and also the NBC, but what was your career path before going to New Jersey, in between Bowling Green and getting to the NHL?
Well, it was 7 years in the minors. That call from Port Huron, Michigan was 4 years in the International League. And I had 3 years in Maine of the American League, which was a Flyers farm team. And it was in the 70s, which meant that all of our games lasted 3 hours and a half, because the Flyers were grooming future thugs for Philadelphia. And I sort of liked that part of the game anyway. So we had the usual Philadelphia recipe. We had our version of Clark, Barber, and Leach, the guys that shot your lights out. And then we had our version of Schultz and Selesky and other, collect. So we won the championship the first 2 years based on intimidation and skill. Had a little this and a little of this. So the 7 years were spent on buses. I broadcast a wedding live from Des Moines, Iowa in the International League. We had Scoro go totally south. Do you know what Scoro is? It's the contest where someone pushes the puck down the ice, and there's an opening in the board, in a board that fits across the net. Well, in Maine, the opening was 4 inches wide, and the puck's 3. And the prize was a car, a Chevy. Somebody just clicked. I'm not sure which one, but you may want to flip it over, and I'll try to be shorter. I know I say that. So anyway, the deal was, at the end of the year, if nobody won the contest on the last night of the season, they'd give the car away. And all season long, nobody was able to shoot at 120 feet to the other end and put it through there. There was a 60-foot shot for color television, color to be emphasized, because this was the 70s. It wasn't automatically a color set if you bought one. And at the other, of course, the ice is all chewed up because it's at the end of the second period. The ice is a mess anyway. So the chances of a shot going in are pretty nil. So anyway, that was the only night those polite Maine fans cheered against the Scoro contestant. And because then they knew they had a shot at it. So here comes the big revolving drum with all the ticket stubs in it. Captain of the team comes out, and we had a statewide radio network in Maine. And the only time all year that we ever broadcast Scoro, because it's not good radio, was that night, because a lot of people were curious who'd win the car. So the public address announcer is really the PR guy for the team. He comes out and he has the captain draw the winning ticket. And he reads the back. There's a number on the front. He turns around to the back, and the winner is Sue Hamilton. Big scream goes up from our side of the ice, and a woman is jumping up and down and hugging people, and she gets down, walks across the ice in heels, and the New England Chevy dealer representative is there, hands her the keys to the car, and all is well. It looks like she's going to eventually move over to the car, and they'll drive it off the ice together. The captain of the team looks to the end of the ice where the players come out for the next period, and he sees one of the ushers down there, and he nudges the PR guy and points down to the usher, who's waving madly, and there's a young lady standing beneath him. There are 2 Sue Hamiltons in the same building. What is the chance of that? So now, how's he going to react to this? So he says, well, I guess we have a little problem here. We've got 2 Sue Hamiltons, 7,000 people there. It's a full house, statewide radio network, and the crowd starts to chant. I know you probably have chants here. I know they do it in Michigan. The crowd starts to chant 2 cars, 2 cars. And the Chevy dealer is about ready to crawl into the ice because he's, I'm only authorized to give away 1 car. You got to get me out of this. So it turns out that the second one is the real winner. They check the stubs. So they have to take the keys away from the first one, hand it to the second one. And the crowd continues to chant. The first one actually did better than the second because when we got her off there and she got down to the offices, she got the color television. She got 2 season tickets to next year's game, and we went through the game program, and anybody we had to trade out with a restaurant, she got dinner for 2 free, and there were probably 18 restaurants there, so she really did. But the kicker is that the car recipient was dating one of the Mariners players, and that really wasn't good press. Anyhow, Mr. Blake is here, and I'm glad of that. Rob, sure is good to see you. A number of people have told me to say hello, including Chico Rush. That was about an hour.